Dallas Morning News. How much were you trying to set the tone for what you want this season to be by wearing the Super Bowl 30 T-shirt and that kind of thing?
Set the tone. I mean, I think the tone's been set. To say a T-shirt was going to do it would be uh, soft. Is that what somebody said? What? Yeah, I mean, to think that a T-shirt was going, I knew you guys would like it. Didn't know how many of the teammates would see it. You know, it's just got done talking about it. Really, it's just the manifesting thing, right? Like me and Tad are just talking about it on the way up here. When we want stuff in life a lot of times, but then, you know, when people start talking about it, you know, you kind of hesitate. Like, should I say that? You know, if they're going to hold me to it. Well, absolutely. Playing in this organization, being in it 10 years, right, going into year 11, I'm not going to shy away from it. Like, when you don't have it, it sucks. When you don't get to play for it, when you're watching other teams play in the playoff, like, there's nothing worse than that. And so, yeah, you know, I said I'd be the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys when I was 6 years old, you know, and said I'd be in the NFL, and I got here. A lot of things in my life, you know, I said I'd do, and I did it. And so, like, why shy away from that now? Why shy away from asking people to hold me to the same standard that I believe that I can accomplish and this team can accomplish? And so I don't know if the T-shirt was, yeah, this is it, as much as, hell, I've said it in the offseason. I've said it before. I know Shotty's spoken about it. We've got certain teammates and leaders that'll do the same. So, yeah, it was an energy thing.
Considering, looking back on it now, you're entering year 11. Did you think it'd be this hard just to get to that last game?
Did I think it'd be that? I mean, year one, absolutely not. I thought it would be easy. You know, I thought all of them would be like my rookie year. You know, you just lost by a field goal. We'll get here next year. You know, we'll block the field goal or we'll score and not get in that situation. And then, yeah, you look up and 7, 8 years later, you've been to the playoffs. You've lost some games, some tough games, in some brutal ways. And, you know, and then you get into the last season and, you know, you think that you control a lot of it. And you think that your play is, you know, ultimately going to be the deciding factor. And I have on probably the best year of my career. And we're not even a playoff team. And then, yeah, you realize that these chances, these opportunities to put teams together that can actually make a run don't come often. And you don't always have the feel that we have right now about the momentum or about the team and about being able to compete for it as you do. And so, yeah.
Deal unless Cowboys, do you worry at all, and maybe you don't? Whether the Super Bowl talk, shirt puts an extra target, or the Cowboys talking Super Bowl again, an extra target on your back for the distraction?
No, not at all. I mean, I think that's as much as kind of the point I was making, if anything, is I don't care, and nobody should care within this organization or this team, because at the end of the day, we do control it. We control our chances. We control our opportunities with a little bit of luck of staying healthy. And that's kind of my point of, right, you guys are going to talk about it. You know, last year we were minus 500, and we went 3 games straight. And if you looked at any outlet, right, guys, you said we're going to win the Super Bowl because, right, we had made a trade. We were winning 3 games straight, and we were the same team. You know what I mean? Like, we just unfortunately weren't that good. We were competing, but we weren't that good to go make a run. But, hell, every one of you guys were writing about it and talking about it. And so if people are going to talk about it, why can't we talk about it? It's not something that we talk about often. It's not something that it's brought up daily, I guess you can say, because we know that it's 1% better each and every day. You've got to handle your business, and if you're not competing today and iron sharpens iron, you're not going to have that opportunity or even chance. So, but, yeah, to go into training camp and to go into season and say that those are our goals, I mean, it'd be stupid or we'd be remiss not to own that and take accountability in that and take pride in saying this is what we want to be and who we want to, what we want to do.
Obviously, you've been a good quarterback for a minute, but how comfortable are you in your own skin out there? It seems like this thing, the light has come on, and the game is slowed down for just watching your practice today. How comfortable are you? How much better can you be?
I'm never going to put a ceiling on how good I can be. Yeah, there's 2 throws I want back from today's practice, or a throw and a half, I guess you can say. But very comfortable. It's just life. You grow, you mature. You go through things, you have kids, you understand that it's about the way that you approach each and every day. I'm thankful for where I'm at. I'm thankful for this team. I'm thankful for the leaders that we have, Shotty, the Jones, what they've done with this organization, all the changes, you know, not just with the personnel, but just within the building. Yeah, very, very comfortable, and just trying to take every moment and not look ahead and just stay right where my feet are and be present. I know I've said that before, and you guys know it's something I take pride in, but it feels good when you're able to do that and live that, and not just only football, but in life.
John Michaud with The Athletic. Coming into this camp, though, now that you've had a season with George, just what is it like, and your thoughts on what you can do moving the ball through the air, having George and CD together?
It's exciting. They help me be comfortable. Those guys are ridiculous in their ability to get open, their ability to win in one-on-one. Right now it's just about continuing to communicate about the zones and where they need to be in certain timings, when it's not man-to-man. But, it's not only those two guys, understanding that teams can double them and they can push coverage and not take them away, but make it really hard to get the ball to them. And then you've got guys like Jake Ferguson, Ryan Flournoy, Kavontae Turpin, obviously a run game that's only blossoming with the guys that we got up front blocking for them. It's exciting. And, yeah, I know you asked about George in year 2 and CD, but they're just a complement to this whole offense. And, going into year 2, we know that last year's success doesn't just carry over to this year's success. Wow, Jake's always going to. Yeah, we know it's not going to carry over, and so it's awesome to see these guys, in meetings and just walkthroughs, taking every moment, every rep serious because we've got to be better than we were last year in our mind, and that's our standard, and we're going to push each other and hold each other accountable to do that.
Just on your interior offensive line, just having a Tyler Smith, another year of Tyler Booker and Beebe, just if you guys are able to keep Tyler Smith there at left guard, not move him out, how dominant do you think you guys could be on the interior? Very
dominant, and I think that's where he's going to be. I don't know, maybe I don't. Yeah, sorry, I don't know. I think. Huh? Yeah, hold me to it. I know Guyton's going to handle his business outside. Yeah, I think we can be very dominant, and from outside in. Those two guys, though, Tyler Booker, Tyler Smith, are impressive as hell. Cooper Beebe's has been as confident as I've ever seen him in making calls and the run calls, the pass, the protections, just getting guys into the right spot. Those guys helping them out. Yeah, super, super dominant. Obviously, we hadn't put on the pads yet, but as important as anything is going to be the iron sharpens iron. The guys that they have to go against and get to go against each and every day out here in training camp, and Quinnen Williams and Kenny Clark and the rest of the crew are only going to make them better. And super excited what we can do. I know you saw some of those runs out there today, and just interested to see when the pads are on, and those guys in the up front on defense can really fight back and give them that full challenge to see where we can go and to see how we can grow.
Nick Harris, Forward Star Telegram. Tyler Guyton let us in on the new nickname motto that you have for the offense, Gotti. How did that come about, and why do you feel that way?
Yeah, as I just said, right, in year 1 in Shoddy and just the guys last year, a lot of times you have a lot of turnover, and we didn't have a lot of much turnover at all on our offensive side, right? We added some guys, and some younger guys are going to have to step up. So, maybe we seasoned the group a little bit, and guys are getting older, but we're close to some historic things last year. And when you have the guys that y'all have all just mentioned, whether it be the Tylers up front or it be George and CD outside, or like I said, Ferg and Flo, and you almost call them the alternate guys because the other guys' names are so big, right? Why can't we be, and just, let's be the greatest offense there is. You've heard the greatest show on turf and all the other different nicknames. And so just in our trip in Utah, something I guess I thought about in the time leading up to that, and just kind of presented it to the guys in our trip. And each and every one of them, loved it or taking pride in it. And that's as cool as anything, is to watch them take pride in it and watch them talk about it and say it to each other. And it's the way that we've been practicing, and we're just going to keep pushing each other.
I know it's only been a couple days, no pads, but what have you seen from this defense through a couple days?
Yeah, a defense that is communicating, a defense that takes a lot of pride in what they do in each and every one of their calls, taking pride in playing with one another. When we motion, you can hear how loud they are and getting to the right fits or calls that they need to make, and just challenging us. Like I said, it'll be awesome when we can put the pads on and really see and get the physicalness, and feel the physicalness from them. But so far, it's been great. It's just an iron sharpens iron mentality. And, just the simple conversations with guys like Q, Kenny, and Rashawn, whether it be in the cold tank or not, those guys are wired the right way. And I know, obviously, I have a lot of back and forth with CP whether it's on the field and us trash talking or it's just, in the hallway before meetings. And that's a super prideful guy who's going to do everything he can to make sure he puts those 11 guys in the right position and make sure that they're comfortable in whatever they have to do. And that's just going to make this camp fun as we get to compete and just keep going down the road.
Tommy Yarsh, DallasCowboys.com. So after one of the plays, I think Joe maybe held on to the ball. You talked to him a little bit. What do you try to tell Joe and Sam throughout practices, and how do you see them kind of receiving your opinion, what you have to say?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, every rep is yours. And that's the only reason that I was able to play when I was asked to play, and all three levels. As I tell people, I got this right. I got the jobs when guys have went down and just really never given it back. And so, just make sure they understand the importance of getting better when you're not in there. And for me, it's when I'm watching their reps and just trying to give them little things to think about. I'm not trying to overcoach them. They've got great coaches, and Steve Shimko, and obviously and Shotty being a quarterback, and whether it be Ryan Feeder helping us with the game management and just the way he sees offense and defense, and then even adding Will Greer to the room, they're getting coached, and they're going to have a lot of coaches, and obviously I add a huge bonus to that. So for me, it's just about speaking up when I see something, but not overdoing it, not trying to step on any of the coaches' toes, and those guys are very they look for that. They want me to speak to them. They want me to be hard on them and tell them what I would do or what I would think, and that's just only going to make our room better. And so we hold each other that standard. I would ask them if they see something to say it to me, whether it's something I said I was going to do and I'm not doing, or just something simple, whether it be my footwork or I could have gotten this faster. We're all seeing the same thing. So let's just talk about it and make sure we're all getting better.
And then adding Will to the staff, I know the two of you are close. What was your reaction to that?
I mean, I was pumped. Obviously, as you said, we're close and have had a long history of working together. And so just getting him back in the room, I know how beneficial he's going to be for me, especially as we get into the weeks of game planning, and then just also helping these young quarterbacks. So he's been in their position, he's been in their shoes, and making sure that they're ready for every rep that they get in preseason. And he's already been a great bonus, and it's only going to get better.
Dan Greenspan, Associated Press. What have your impressions of Caleb Downs been since the organization drafted him?
He's as sharp as a young rookie or a young guy I've ever seen. It starts with his mentality and his approach to the game. It's who he is. Obviously, you can see it on the football field. You see it any moment that football is being talked about, whether it's in the meetings or whether it's a walkthrough or it's at practice. But just to spend time around the guy outside of football, whether it's playing golf or just hanging out, shooting a commercial with him, that's who he is. And that is contagious. He's a young guy that I respect. He's a reason that this is going to be one of our best rookie classes. And he's just going to continue to grow. And he takes a lot of pride in, being the first pick of the Cowboys, and takes a lot of pride in, having to step into a defense that everybody was talking about that has to get better. And he's as good as I said, as any young guy I've been around.
That slot defender position has become so important where it feels like you have to have a Derwin James or Jalen Ramsey to have an elite defense. How has that position changed or developed where that matchup is so crucial over your time in the NFL?
I mean, I think it's as much as how great the pass catchers have gotten. And when you got guys like CD, Jackson, Smith, and Jigba, Jamar, Justin, you name it, they're not playing on one side of the field, and they're not playing just outside. Those guys are moving around, and that's what makes these offenses great, when you can move these type of guys in and out. And so if you don't have a guy that can travel with them, if you don't have a guy that can match up and play that, you're putting yourself in a bind. And he not only has to travel and, get inside when that guy goes inside, but he also has to stop the run. And so to have a guy that can do that, to be versatile, but more importantly, physical, that's what makes great defenses great. And as you just said, it's just the way that this game has kind of developed into, I don't want to say a passing league, but it's a lot more pass than it ever has been. And it's almost pass first, then run. So you need a guy in there that can slow down that star receiver when he moves inside, but yet fill the B gap, the C gap, or whatever he needs to, and hold the integrity of the defense.
Joe Hoyt, Dallas Morning News. Shotty said that Pickens has been dialed in during meetings, and he said he's been motivated to be detail-oriented because of conversations with you guys. How much does that excite you to hear that Pickens has that mentality?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I mean, I've watched it. I'm watching him over there take notes and talk to young guys, and yeah, be as locked in as I've ever seen it, and it's already showing out there on the field. It's impressive. He knows what this year is for him individually. He knows what this year means for the team. He wants to contribute. He's one of the best teammates I've been around, and just his energy, how he shows up for the team, and what he does. And so, yeah, he's just taking another level, and that's what you expect with a guy who loves the game like he does.
I think Shotty's talked about is the evolution of the offense, taking the next step. In terms of maybe getting the seam more access with Jake and some of the other tight ends, how much does that kind of play into the evolution, kind of moving the ball downfield this year?
Everything's open. Yeah, I don't want to just, give it away. We're going to just tack the seams more than we did last year. But when you got George, you got CD, you got Ferg, you got Flo, you got Terp, you got a run game and Javante, Jaden, Malik, whoever it may be that comes in there. Mean goes out here making plays. I mean, you name it. And a bunch of young guys who are hungry too. It's going to be tough to cover all 53.5 yards of the field, and we're going to make teams do that. And so whether it's the seams, whether it's the boundaries, whether it's getting in condensed formations and just keeping you off balance, that's the goal of this offense.
Hey, Dak. Patrick Walker, Cowboys.com. You being here 10 seasons, I don't think there's been a stretch of time where the Cowboys front office have made so many high-level trades in such a short period of time, from George to Quinnen, got Kenny, and then made the trade to go up and get Caleb Downs. And still, Jerry Jones is saying that he's willing to trade a top pick for a player that can help maybe as early as week 1. From 2 points of it, number one, what does that say about the sense of urgency to get things done right now? And as the franchise quarterback, how good does it feel to have a front office right now that's willing to push everything to the middle of the table?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's kind of why, like I said, I'm gonna wear the shirt. I'm gonna, invite the standard. I know Jerry's done the same. And when you watch what the organization is doing, that tells you that. And so I'm blessed to be, obviously to be here 10 years, but to watch what's happened over the last couple of years and to see his mind and his urgency and him still wanting to do whatever he can to make this team better. That's why you play and practice and make sure you give this team everything you can, is because, when the owner's doing it and it's going from the top to the bottom, why not? And, life's about being urgent. A lot of us want to wait and want to say, oh, we'll do it later, but what are we really promised, whether it's football or whether it's life. And so why not now?
Matt Doney, NBC Dallas. Dak, you've talked about your friendship with Jake Ferguson quite a bit. It was a big offseason for him, and he was talking about just how much life has changed for him going into this season, but he's excited. I just wondered if you would speak a little about how much he means to you as a teammate, what you expect from him this year, just in general, you and Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, he's the man. He's definitely a little brother. He's a guy that you enjoy hanging around. He's a guy that makes the day better one way or another. He's going to make you laugh. He's going to find the humor in any and every situation, and that's what I need. You go through things in life, and you create different friendships at different times. And he's just been a beauty all off season. It was awesome to support him and be there, watching him get married and just continue to take steps and grow. I say he's a little brother for a reason, because he's young, but yet he's maturing each and every day. Watching what he's done on the football field, his growth, and just the way that he's taken this offseason serious, and the strides he's made just within the game of football, and just our connection, being able to, one, hang outside of the facility, but to, when it's time to talk ball, and when we do, whether it's in the facility or not, the level of professionalism and focus that he has is synonymous to me. And so it's just been fun. He's a funny guy, and I know each and every one of you know that when you've asked him questions or spent some time with him. And so I've just been fortunate to spend more time with him than others. But he's great.
Yeah, Chris Angst from Fox 4. This is for Oklahoma City folks talking about tight ends. They were asking about if you would mind comment a little bit about Jason Witten. Did you see something early on or during your time with him that this was going to be what you thought was his career path?
Absolutely. That's who he is a guy that loves football. You know, when I came in as a young rookie, it's all, you know, we tell any young rookie to, you know, find those veterans that you admire their career and you admire what they do, and, you know, follow everything that they're doing. And that was the guy for me, you know, being a Cowboys fan, growing up watching Jason Witten, then being able to share the locker room and share the field with him. As I've told y'all before, it was a race to try to beat Witt in the morning, and I was trying to stay at the facility as long as he did. You know, I tell the whole story, the old story from the pat and go of him not, you know, extending his arms and telling me, you know, the ball needs to be here. It's a standard that he set. It's a standard that he made everybody on not only the offense but the team feel that you knew that the game is who he is. That there's a good group of us in these locker rooms that wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for the game of football. And so you just want to give everything you can back to it. And Jason Witten is the epitome of that. And I know that obviously he's was a high school coach, won a state championship, and then moving on to the college ranks. I know Oklahoma's got a great one in him, and this won't be his final stop. I expect him, you know, in this league, and honestly being a head coach, whether it's college or the NFL one day, because that's what the game means to him, and that's how serious he takes it, and more importantly, that's how great he is and how great he sees the game.
Michelle Monte, WFA. Quinnen yesterday sat up there and said he was just so happy to be here playing with one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I know your voice carries the most, but how helpful is it for you, for the team, to have an established, like, really good player
The best.
who's also a really good leader on that side of the ball?
It's amazing. Yeah, he tells me that often, and so it's cool to hear. You know, I tell him I'm thankful he was building his house in Dallas and he chose us. But it means everything to, you know, your best players have to practice the hardest and they have to do things the right the most. And Q's the biggest example of that. You know, not necessarily a big rah-rah guy or going to talk a lot, but when he does talk, it's heard. And he understands that. He understands how important his voice is. And so the words he does say, whether they're uplifting or whether they're serious or whether they're just straight to the point, we feel it. And we feel it on the offensive side as well. And, you know, just walking and dapping guys up before the practice or before, you know, the team period starts. Him just, you know, kind of saying something like that again to me and just saying, hey, we're going to win this year. It's good to hear, but it also goes into where I was just saying the standard's the standard, and guys are proud to talk about the standard is and to hold each other to it, and it's refreshing as hell.
Mike Ducey from Fox 4. You've always been a process-oriented guy, but you're not shying away from the Super Bowl talk either. Is it fair to say you're a little less patient than you used to be
For sure.
in that regard as the years have gone by?
Yeah, definitely less patient. However, it is still a process. It's still a process, and, you know, as I said, it's not something I'm gonna get up here and talk about every single time on the podium. You know, this is the first time me talking to you guys since training camp began, and obviously since wearing the shirt. And yeah, those are the expectations. As I said, you know, when you're watching the playoffs or you're not getting to even compete for it, you know, that sucks. It's terrible. And so just to have everybody on the same accord, everybody having the same standard is the way that it has to start. But at the end of the day, it is about getting 1% better. And, you know, we're only going to get there is if we win each rep, we win each drill individually, and then that carries over into, you know, offense trying to win each play against the defense and them doing the same, and that's where the iron sharpens iron happens. And it is a process. You know, we're going to have days, and hopefully we're going to have, you know, a couple of days where they get the best out of us, and we can't let that, you know, deter our beliefs and who we are and what we're going to try to accomplish and our strengths, and vice versa. You know, we've got some great guys on offense, and so when we're attacking them and we're having the better days, they can't get down on themselves. You know, they got to live and learn from it, and that's the whole thing of the whole point of this training camp is it's about not beating each other up, but getting the most out of each other by being physical, pushing our limits, and seeing which and what each unit can do, but more importantly, the identity of the team that we're going to create.